Wade.
From just outside the perimeter of Atlanta, Georgia, where we were up a man and still had no fucking plan. Thank you.
It's just not funny right now.
It's really not.
It's not
sad.
funny because it's what, the thing that the banner said, find a way to win. And what we did was we found a more embarrassing way to lose.
But you have found your way to our podcast. It is the 5 Takes podcast. And we are back.
Welcome back.
Cotter.
That's what I'm going to say from now on. Not we're back. Welcome back.
We are definitely
back,
not back.
No, we're not back.
John Cena back as WWE champion, number 17, supplanting Ric Flair. He now has more championships than anyone in WWE history. He beat Cody Rhodes 2 nights ago, and now he says he's taking his ball and going home. He's the last real champion. It's a lot of fun what he's doing right now. John Cena as a heel is interesting because he's actually, having worked with the man, very sweet, very nice guy. I've never had an actor come onto his set and literally thank every single crew member at the end of the day, shake your hand, say good morning to you, to everybody from Crafty to Grip, everybody.
Yeah.
He's a different breed. So to see him embody the villain role and to go deep onto it, including coming after like 8-year-old kids, is quite something. But he's pretty adept at it because he's an actor.
Didn't he always have the villain heel role? Like, he was never the good guy.
No. Cena's always been hustle, loyalty,
No,
respect.
Hasn't he been like fucking like army dude?
Yeah,
like,
he not a full-on babyface.
like hero.
But yeah, he
guy.
hasn't been who he's been now. And to do it at the end of his career, because this is it. The last time is now, as all his towels and shirts say. He's done at the end of this year. He's got a few more dates left. I want to say 27 more appearances for WWE. And at the end of this year, he's done. And he's not going to be like other pro wrestlers or athletes that, retire and unretire. He means it. He's done. So
well, he's like 60.
No, he's only like 46. He can still do it.
No, but he's got like he's got other things.
Yeah,
he wants
correct.
To do,
he's pursuing, and he said, when you know your time is up, your time is up, and he knows his time is up. And I just have a lot of respect for somebody that embodies a character for decades, and then on his very last year, the thing they're going to remember you by, you decide to go heel for the good sake of a story or something cool. That's pretty bold to do, because this is going to be the last impression that people are left with you. You know what I mean?
That I do because that's actually why I fell in love with Atlanta United. Yeah.
Atlanta United has done the ultimate heel turn.
No. One absolute heel on the pitch, one LGP who was never anything to fuck with. And we've talked a lot this weekend offline about that being just completely absent from this club. Sorry, that was my segue over to talking about United-related things.
No, you're not. Yeah, no, you're not wrong about that. There's a lot of things that are missing. There's a lot of things that are absent. There's a lot of things that are not right in the world. And I'd have to say damn near all of it.
Feels like that.
We were kind of talking offline about like, okay, is it ready to start? It's time to start talking about the coaching, the staffing. It's not just the players on the field, because we can't say with any certainty that the players on the field have any kind of leadership behind the ball. We don't know what is going on in the locker room, but we can probably safely say that none of it is really good. No. There's no cohesiveness. There's no plan. Everything is completely rudderless. We were saying too that it's one thing because you can lose well, and you can even lose poorly, as long as you do it as a team, as long as you do it as a collective, cohesive unit of everyone that's playing for the badge. And while there are some that I think are, and I think maybe even individually there are players, maybe even all of them are playing for themselves and for the badge and things like that. But it just doesn't feel like from the top down, minus maybe Uncle Art himself, does not feel like there is a collective unit whatsoever. And it's just bad. It's not, oh, we, hit a rough couple of patches, or we've played some tough matches. We've played some tough teams. We've faced some tough injury situations. No, you guys, it's just bad. It's just bad.
However, we are a collective unit on this pod. Hi. If you're not watching the video feed, and maybe you're new to this and you have come for free therapy, welcome.
There are 3 voices on this podcast.
My name is Glenn. I'm also a Chelsea supporter, so I fully know pain. Kat is here. She's a Liverpool supporter, so she's got.
So I actually know some joy currently.
I used to know joy, but those days are long gone. And Jennifer is here, and she's a Spurs supporter. She knows nothing but pain, has never had joy in her life.
She's never experienced the lift.
No, never. Even though you are still in Europa League, correct? Still in that tournament.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Big surprise. We get to go to the frozen tundra in a couple of weeks and play in
in Norway, right?
Final. Yes, in Norway. It's the furthest northern located team in the entire Europa Conference.
Brilliant. Sounds right up your alley.
I mean, look, I'm good with things on ice. That's my jam. But when it comes to my football, I far prefer right side of the slash. So here we are. Yeah.
So what we normally
Jennifer is a former skeleton champion.
What?
Pretty sure.
I am not that much of a head case.
Skeleton.
What?
Yeah, no, I don't do that.
Skeleton. Skeleton is luge.
Okay.
For psychopaths.
Okay, I had no idea what you were talking
Skeleton is luge for psychopaths.
Yeah, because skeleton, you go head first.
Or it's like that, or the 2-man bobsled, or old Robin Williams joke that he says, "Oh, at that point, just get a room, guys."
Yeah, you're in it. You're just fucking in a bathtub. Okay.
Well, what we normally do on this pod after we've gotten through our ridiculous intro banter is we try to break down the match as best we can through 5 points of observation, things we've seen, whether that's tactics, an individual player's performance, sometimes, unfortunately, the ref, who actually, we can't blame this time. I think it was called pretty well. But we're going to stray from that tonight because we find ourselves once again at a point where it's not really super useful to break down point by point of like, oh, we just got this little thing wrong here, and if we tweak that, we'll be a little bit better in this area in defense or attack.
There's no tweaking this utter crap show.
So what we decided to do is give each of us 5-ish minutes. It is the 5-take show, so we'll stick with the 5 theme to just get it out. Whatever we want to get out, whatever you want to talk about for around 5 minutes, and then after that we can talk about our thoughts and how we feel about each other's perspectives, which I think are mostly aligned, at least from like a 30,000 foot view. Like I think most 17s right now, fans of this club, are feeling about this thing.
If you're feeling optimistic right now, I would love the name of the person that got
Yes, please.
you
We
there.
would love to have them on. Please send them here.
Yes, and how much it is for a dime?
Please. So
because I'm very out of touch. I don't know how much it costs anymore.
Well, it's probably had a tariff put on it. Joy has had a tariff put on it, for sure. All right, so Kat's going to lead us off here. Very, very bold.
I know.
So, go ahead. The floor is yours. 5 minutes. Go for it.
So I kind of already touched on it a little bit because I just said it's just bad. But I think that something that is worth examining is, when do we feel like it went so wrong? What was the kind of turning point? Because it we know that we have the money, we have the infrastructure, we know that the fans exist. There's plenty of them. I just sent you guys a video the other day that in the Americas, I guess it's in all of North. That's what it was. In all of North America, the average fan count, we still hold it, and that includes a lot of the different clubs in Mexico, like Monterrey and Chivas, and like some of the Club America, some of the biggest clubs in Mexico. We still have a higher average fan count per game than anybody else. And it's so we know that the foundation is there, but at some point the foundation started to crumble. And for me, looking back, because we have a 5-year sample size since the last time we had anything worth winning, to me the turning point was really, and I'm going to say this, and I know that it's not necessarily a popular point, but I'm going to say it because I think it's
Please.
relevant. I still think hiring Frank DeBoer was a mistake. I understand that we won things that year, but as I've said in the past, and I think some people will agree with me, that was still largely the same team that we had in 18. Yes, he changed the formation, but the talent and the cohesiveness as a team that we had, minus Miggy and a couple others, was still very much there. So that's why I've said, yeah, he didn't really win us anything. And I know you can say that you can say what you want. But for me, I still think that was a mistake, because you took a team that was in its infancy, that was winning, and you changed, you did 180-degree heel, as you guys have been calling it, because I didn't know what the fuck you were talking about for about 5 minutes. Anyway,
Skeleton.
Because, so I still think that DeBoer was a mistake. And since then, we've had nothing but a string of mistakes when it came to certain hiring.
That's true.
It's worth, don't get me wrong, it's worth trying things. I understand that. I was extremely optimistic about a lot of the different people we've had for a lot of different reasons. I even liked Heinze for about 5 minutes because I was like, hey, this guy's got some fucking energy. He's jumping all over the field. I was like, hey, cool. Pineda came from a really good, pedigree background, in Seattle and things like that. And, obviously Glassy and Valentino, they studied under the people that have led us into good places. But it just kind of feels like we had our time in the sun. We had our little limelight. And now Atlanta United is falling into kind of what's the word? They're falling into the same
malaise
as other Atlanta sports. I was going to say the what is it, where you're just kind of mid,
We call that Hawks.
Well, that's what I mean. Yeah. The Braves are really the only team that have ever consistently won anything. So it was interesting that, we had those first 2 seasons, we're like, wow, we really have something fucking going here. The first 3 seasons, the first 3 seasons, we have a winning franchise. This is going to be a contending franchise every year. Look at what we've got. We hit the ground running. We didn't do the thing that Minnesota did. And that was the interest. That was the comps, of that year. Was Minnesota went out and they were like, we're going to build our team and we're going to build from homegrowns and we're going to build up, and Atlanta said, no, we're not going to do it that way. We're going to go out and we're going to spend all the money and we're going to hit the ground running with as many good players as we can possibly afford. And it worked. And then they started fucking with it, I guess. And like I said, we don't have the same culture that we used to have. Whatever we had is gone. That's how I'm going to end my rant. Whatever we had then is gone. So what do we do now? Because what they're trying in the last 3 seasons has not worked. So let that go. 17, 18, and 19 are gone. What do we do now?
God, that's hard to listen to. Jennifer,
can I respond to your statement and in terms of the whole Frank DeBoer thing, because I think you've actually hit on something there.
Sure.
There's a lot of Frank Boer defenders out there, myself included. I liked Frank Boer. I appreciated what he did. And at the time, MLS 3.0 was not really playing a lot of Dutch system total football. And I thought it was
sure.
Kind of good. I actually thought it was interesting, refreshing. So what he did at least in context of what you said, is roster construction shifted, right? We went from getting these, young guys, maybe from, Central South America with, the swagger, and we started going after this smooth possession based style. And subsequently every hire, with the exception of Heinze, right, pivoted toward that same Frank de Boer style of possession in some way, shape, or form. That was Pineda ball, obviously. Heinze was trying to do whatever Heinze was doing. We don't really ever get to know, but I would imagine he was probably somewhere back in more of the Tata style mold, right? But everybody else after that has been a more possession based manager hire, and we have recruited a roster full of people that are far more suited to that than maybe the way MLS 4.0 is played, where now you have a blend of all these hybrid European styles because you have so much more diversity in the league, as well as, the natural talent pool coming from south of the border. So I think it's a very valid point that you make, and I
agree. I think it is
it is such a pity too, because I think that there are clubs that, if that is the club that you had built from the beginning, a Dutch/European model would be wonderful in this league. It would be great to kind of watch that just from the get-go. But that's just not who we were. That's not what we'd built. So it was just
there was a Yu-Gi-Oh card called DNA Surgery.
Okay.
I don't know if you've ever played the Yu-Gi-Oh card game.
I have not, but I can gather.
It's a magic.
I understand role playing and turn.
Right, so you have these like character types where you have to be like, whether you're an insect family or you're a dragon family or whatever, and this card lets you change to a specific other species, right?
I think
that's kind of what happened.
We need one of those cards.
It's a metaphor. It's a metaphor.
But it's a metaphor. But
all right.
I just wonder how. I mean, I'm sure they weren't consulted, but it's. I wonder what the players would think about that. Like, I wonder how the conversation went when they said, "Okay, Tata's gone. We didn't fire him. He's gone, but he left.
Well,
so we're going to bring in a Dutch manager who plays a 4-3-3.
It was
instead of a Latino manager who
it was a culture shock.
Plays a 3-4-3-2-1.
It was a culture shock. I think you've hit on something that I haven't heard discussed a lot in various forums that we're all part of, and just conversations amongst friends about that being the start, like a diverging point. We all recognize the success that we had in 19, but that was kind of the start of where we branched off. So I think that's something really interesting to think on. Jennifer, floor's yours, love.
So I'm very much not I try very hard in my life not to be a past dweller, and I'm definitely more of a problem fixer, right? Like, I look at things and I wonder, what do you do, Kat? It's like, what are you supposed to do with this from here? Right. And I was listening to the Noah Cobb piece today on Soccer Down Here. And, where he's talking about how, he's been a fan of this club. He has played here since he was 13 years old. There is a history. There is an idea that is Atlanta United, and how on earth do we get that back? Because when he was point blank asked, is there somebody in the locker room that could step up and be the villain and be willing to just kick some people around, literally words out of his mouth.
Flip some fucking tables.
It didn't exist. And I was not on last week. So I didn't get to say all of these things, because that was my thing, was end of the homestand, where do we sit, right? We ain't sitting pretty, and it's obnoxious. So I'm listening to Noah Cobb talk about, like, actually achieving his goal of playing for his hometown MLS club, like, and that's a big thing. And it got me thinking about the movie Center Stage, the all-time backstage classic ballet movie with all the sex and the hot people doing all sorts of fun.
Julia Stiles?
No,
that Saved the Last Dance.
Sorry.
This is the one with the
this is the one she's talking about, is the one no one saw.
I beg your forgiveness.
It was Zoe Saldana's like
Again, no one saw
young
it.
role.
Okay, all right. Well,
Yeah, and Amanda Scholl as well. So I mean, like it's kind of a cult classic. Okay. But in any case, there's a whole point in time where Zoe Saldana, she's this super talented dancer, and she gets into this ballet school, and she just can't get out of her own head. She's like, I demand this for myself, and I demand that for myself. And she's not getting the roles because she's got attitude and whatever. So her ballet mistress comes over, and after one particularly frustrating audition and work day because she got stuck in the chorus. And, she's like, how do you get out of where you're at? And she says, go to the bar. You go to the bar, you do the basic exercises. You get on the ice, you do the figure eights, you do the moves in the field. You go to the foundation of why you're here in the first place. And I think the only thing at this point in time that's going to fix this club is if you take away all these fancy trappings and let's coddle everybody and we'll have wait service in the cafeteria where we can give you Art Nouveau super infused design food things, and Latte Lot walks into the building and his jaw is on the ground. And I love that because I love the bends and I love that we are a gold standard for the way football should be. But when you're a gold standard for something and you get there, why do you still work for it? Where is your motivation to do better? Did you forget where you came from?
Heinz, it did take the water away. Didn't work. I'm sorry. I interrupted.
I'm not saying no Gatorade.
I understand.
I'm saying if you need to make people who are softer than the toilet paper I buy,
and it's quite soft.
And look, I'm a chick. I spend the money on the good TP. Okay, there's a difference. Boys don't care. Yeah, chicks do. Anywho, but yeah, if you want to try to turn them into something remotely resembling sandpaper grit, it can't be the easy life. It can't be. Why are you laughing at me? I'm just
picturing sandpaper grit, toilet paper. I don't know.
He's picturing wiping his ass with sandpaper.
Yeah.
Something. They need to do something. They should be wiping their ass with sandpaper because they're literally Nickelback right now.
Ew. Oh my God. I literally went to Walmart earlier, by the way, which goes against enough of my own religion, as it were. Not really. And I heard Hootie. And I was like, where am I? And what decade am I in? And who do I have to kill to get out of this fucking wormhole? And I literally picked up the pace from the back of the store where I was. It was the only place close enough that I could get fucking ink cartridges, by the way. I literally picked up the pace. I was damn near speed walking by the time I got to the front.
Right.
Yes.
Hey, you know what? When you do that kind of speed walking and maybe you're a little tired after running away from Hootie.
Yeah, my back starts to hurt.
Yeah, does it?
Yeah.
We've had some banger segues from both of you over the years.
I knew where she was going, though.
We really have. Top tier.
She led me right into that one.
That was about as good as the Randy Orton, Joe Hendry match at WrestleMania. No disrespect to Joe Hendry. It wasn't a great match.
Did they land on their back?
You know when you would especially need to go visit Mason Mill?
Yeah.
After you recreate WrestleMania. That's right.
After all the women's matches, because I'm telling you, the women's matches were the best. They were the highlight of this.
They usually are.
They just were. They're out hustling, out working, and more athleticism, more entertaining. Shocking, not shocking at all.
Look at the national soccer teams.
Same, right? Same. So here comes the Mason Mill segue. I appreciate it. I'm sorry I gave you grief over it.
We just ran into it with a truck.
Hey, you know what?
It worked. You got there.
I did. And shouts to Mason Mill because they just continually promote us and share us and support us. And even when the times are tough, they're still there, man. And they have,
and they always
will be. It's really incredible how much support they've given to us, and I hope we've been able to do the same thing for them. I hope a few of you out there have gotten yourselves over to Mason Mill, not just for our sake, but for your own sake. 404-321-0082, MasonMillCairo.com. They're in Decatur, Georgia, off McConnell Mill Drive, open Tuesday through Saturdays. it is something positive that you can do for yourself and your friends and your family to just, routine maintenance and try to avoid injury as much as possible. Don't be like me when I was a kid, when I thought I knew everything and did not take care of myself as well as I should have. If I had been going to Mason Mill in my teens and early 20s, I probably would be better off with my lower back pain than I am right now. But I'm doing okay. So, go there. Jennifer, was that about wrapping it up for you? You kind of cut into yourself with a Megway, and do you want to reclaim your time?
Did.
Do you?
No,
I mean,
I said what I said. Ultimately, take away the trappings.
Okay. Yeah, I got you. That's your overarching
fancy whatever. Okay. We don't need it. You have to get back to basics. You have to get back to fundamentals. Yeah. You have to get back to what it felt like when you were 9 years old and you were the best player on the team and no one could touch you. All of those men are. There was never a point there was some point in time in their careers where they were light years ahead of everybody else around them.
Take yourself back to that time when you were.
Yeah, so not just the foundations of the team, but the foundations of why you even play the fucking game.
Yeah. Exactly, because it has to come from here.
Right.
Yeah. You guys, you spent that whole offline period talking about fake and plastic. You can't manufacture this. No coach can manufacture it. No front office with whatever BS that they want to say is the latest and greatest in sports science, blah, blah, blah. They can't bring you back to that space in your head. They can't grow a heart. They're not the Wizard of Oz. Actually,
now
they
I know.
are.
So now I know I have a heart because it's breaking.
So they need to go and do like in Ted Lasso when he takes him to the small pitch and he plays against all of the amateurs and he remembers why you play the fucking game and have some fucking fun.
Yes.
Yeah.
Don't make it easy.
Find a way to have fun again.
Joy is an important aspect.
Because you don't have a reason to fight for anything, if there's nothing left for you to fight for.
Correct, because the paycheck's there, no matter what, and it should be.
Yeah.
I'm not advocating dock a week's wages. That's not what I'm saying. But, you do have to get back to why, when you were a kid, 6, 7, 8 years old growing up, was your goal to become a professional athlete as your job? Less than 1% of the people on planet Earth do this type of stuff. You are elite to be able to be paid to entertain people in sport.
It's not easy.
What made you get up in the morning with that dream and pursue it? Right?
Like actually do the work to get there.
Okay. I like it. I like how you both identified kind of different things at like a fundamental level, not at a tactical level, not at a player performance level, but more getting to the feeling.
I think it is a fundamental problem that speaks to the culture of this club as it has been likely since Frank de Boer took over this club.
Yeah.
All right, let me take a go at this.
So, Mr. Man.
So,
what you thinking?
When you forfeit a match, you get handed a score line of 3-0.
Okay.
When a match is forfeited, that is the scoreline you're given. 3 goals to 0. And that feels like a very appropriate scoreline for this past weekend. And I called it, actually. I said we were going to lose 3-0. I got the red card wrong and went to Philly.
Braves pulled it out, Glenn. Not to interrupt you. Sorry. 7-6.
A win? Braves won?
Yeah.
4's a streak.
Yeah.
3's a streak. 4's a streak. All right, so we got a sweep. All right.
Yep.
So Kat and I were talking about this before, too, and I'll kind of thread that in about like the past 4 games for the Braves have felt more like, Braves.
There it is.
Right. That's what I remember. And we have not seen that with Atlanta United in 5 years.
Correct.
What I'm really tired of hearing, and I don't mean to say that the players gave up, but it looked very much like that. When you have Mike Conti, who, if you were going to accuse somebody of being a homer, and I am not, but if you're going to, you could say that at least him and Jason are at least biased at best.
Yeah, they are.
And they've been accused of sunshine pumping, and maybe even I have felt that way about some of their comments in the past. Mike was not that. The audio is available for you to go listen to. It is on our feed, on all our socials, of the goal calls that Mike had for the first, second, and third goal. The second goal he called excruciating. And then about 45 seconds into the goal, he stops Jason and says, I'm going to editorialize here for a minute. Where are the veterans? Yeah. Why is it Noah Cobb and Jay Fortune out there trying to pump everyone up? Why was it those two that came to the media afterwards? That is extremely, extremely disappointing. You don't walk away from tough moments and tough times. You don't shy away from that stuff. You own it and get in front of it.
Unless you got no heart.
And if we're relying, well, it explains why, maybe. Instinctively. I'm not envisioning a scenario where they said, Noah, Jay, get out there. Go talk to him. I think they wanted to. And I think that comes from heart, like Jennifer was saying. Been here since they were on the bottle.
Babies.
Before they were packing their own lunches. They were fans of this club before they were players. I think they're still fans of this club. And I'm really tired of hearing players, even Goose, everyone has said this, say that anyone can step up and be a leader. No, I'm tired of the scapegoating and this. Well, we're just waiting
that was
for a
something
hero.
else Noah Cobb said. That was something else Noah Cobb said too, is that it had to be all of them, and he felt like they were waiting on someone else to do it.
We do need someone to be that guy, and the fact that players are even making that comment further solidifies the fact that they have no idea what's going on either. They have not identified a leader. Nobody.
There's no leader.
There isn't.
There's no leader at all.
Not a single one. And that's really tough when we don't have that rally point. And I think that's another fatal flaw of this club right now, is we do not have a leader in this locker room. I mean no disrespect to Goose, who has played for the badge and I think continues to do so. But nobody's really stepping up, and if we're relying on kids, we're in a really bad place. A very, very, very bad place. And this place that we're currently in, we have been here before. We have been in this bad place for 5 years. How many times can we semi-soft reset? It's
a flaccid reset.
This year is different because, we thought we had done everything. We were sold a bill of goods, and it has just crashed and burned. And
is it feeling a little like snake oil to you?
Yep. I think, like we were saying with the Braves, we've seen something with them. Now we can identify as, I see my team. That's my team.
Oh, there it is.
If I wanted to take someone to a game, I would want to take them to the last 4 Braves games to give them an example of what Atlanta Brave baseball is, or at least aspires to be. We haven't seen one of those games this year with Atlanta, not at its fullest form. Yeah, okay, Montreal win. Fine.
9 games in, and we haven't seen a 90-minute effort yet.
We haven't seen it. And
I think my stars, that the one really good game of the season was the first game, and that's what I took my daughter to. She got to see me carry the spike, and that was cool, but that was cool for a different reason. The one game that was all about her was the one that we got the win, and that felt like hope, And then it just it fizzled out like a really, really cheap ass firework bought in Alabama before it was legal in Georgia.
Different players, different coaches, different presidents, TDs, same problems. Fundamentally flawed. I'll wrap up my point, and I think I'm spilling over into overtime a little bit. Apologies.
It's okay. That's why I'm kind of jumping in a little.
Mike Weiss, Atlanta United FanTV, great guy. He came over this past week into the house, watched the first half before he had to leave with his 3 kids, who are great. and God bless him, bundles of energy. I don't know how parents do it.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, they were having a blast with the dog door.
Nothing is easy.
I
I'll tell
have
you
a little
that.
dog door in the 5-stripe room, and they saw that as a tunnel. And
Yep.
my poor dog was
Absolutely.
going crazy. She's like, "Why are there humans going in and out my door? What is happening?" But they loved it. But it was good to have him come over. But I wanted to quote. He wrote a really great article in the past couple days about the state of the team and what's going wrong. Like, what is the problem? And I just want to give a 2-paragraph quote. So bear with me here. And I'll put
Mike
this link in there. It's part of the Patreon. If you're not, you should join that. And at bare minimum, join the Discord, because there has been a lot of venting, but a lot of just positive discussion too. And
A lot of Discord.
No one's tearing each other down in the process,
no one's doing that.
which is refreshing.
It is venting.
We're all
it is
not
being
in
frustrated.
safe, healthy
but
mental places.
it's healthy discussion. So, for years, the team struggled to balance the many variables that go into recreating the desired conditions for a successful team. Was it the coach? Well, we tried that a good number of times. Were we not ambitious enough in our signings? Pity Martinez, Thiago Almada, and Emmanuel Latelat would dispel that. Was it the tactics? While the choice to perpetually play protagonist soccer against equal or better teams, and rarely ever play on the counter, was vexing, it wasn't the most significant reason for our fall from greatness. No. The underlying problem was, you guessed it, failure of the franchise to establish an identifiable and lasting culture at the club. Mm-hmm. That is it. Yeah, I would love to see us. I think we are set up more as better suited as a counter-attacking team, not just Red Bull counterattack, but, win possession through high press. And I think Doug Robertson has emphasize this as well, as far as stylistically. But I think Mike hits it there. Mm-hmm. And how do you build that back? How do you get back to that? We've tried kind of in the past to get back to that, and now with Garth, we're trying to do something entirely new, and that's not working either. So shouts to Mike for that article. The whole thing is really good, but it is kind of all about that, the culture of the club and how it's evaporated. And the biggest problem with Atlanta United right now. So there's my 5-ish minute piece on that.
And it's also extremely frustrating because, as I have pointed out in the past, and I will do again, Atlanta sports fans are undeniably and loyal to a fault. Okay? It does not fucking matter how bad they get. You're always going to have Hawks fans. You're always going to have Falcons fans. You're always going to have Braves fans. And you will probably always have United fans. If you play for us, we will love you forever. It is just who we are. That is one of the things.
Will we though? Because how much dissent against a legend of this club, one Miguel Almiron, have you seen in the last 3 days?
Well,
I've seen a lot of it.
One might argue that Mickey's not playing. I know.
I'm not saying it's undeserved.
I hear you.
But
well, that's what I'm saying. One might argue that Miggy's not showing a whole lot right now either. I haven't seen him giving out the press conferences. I haven't seen him trying to rally the city around him and the rest of the team.
To be more of a leader.
He was supposed to be the guy.
More of a leader. I was expecting that.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
It hasn't been.
Especially someone coming back to this club. He was supposed to be the centerpiece.
He's not immune from criticism.
If he wasn't, then there was no point in bringing him back.
Yeah, because why not just go out and get somebody
get any number 10,
get an actual left wing.
Sure.
Yeah, instead of playing him where he doesn't belong. Which
no, Miggy, and that's what kind of worries me a little bit too about him is that like it would have possibly have been with Joseph, is that it would have been for novelty's sake. It would have been to put the fans back in their seats. But if that was the reason, then they shouldn't have brought him back.
Talking about Joseph, Jennifer, can I ask you a question that I think, Kat, you asked me before Jennifer came on, or we were having a discussion about a what-if scenario, Marvel's what if, right? Alternate timeline universe. Jennifer, let me pose this question to you. Because, we were talking about Frank de Boer and how that
Right.
was the
It's
divergent
2020.
point. Put your mind
Let's
into
set the
2020,
stage.
okay?
It's 2020.
Yeah,
Two
okay.
things.
Beginning
of 2020.
Beginning of 2020.
Two things don't happen. No COVID. Joseph does not do his ACL.
Where are we?
Is Frank still there?
Yeah, I think Frank's still there.
And are we winning?
And I don't know if Frank is there now, but I think Frank would have played out through. He had a contract through 2025.
What? Mm-hmm. What? No.
God damn, really?
No. Right. They gave him 24 because they gave him a 5-year contract.
Did they really?
Me. Yeah. Oh yeah.
19. So we would have 19.
Yeah, would have been
24.
23.
23
a year.
23.
Okay.
Sorry.
Right,
okay. So anyway,
right.
they might.
Does he see out that 5-year deal?
I think there's a very good chance that he does.
Okay.
Again, because if you have healthy prime Joseph,
yeah,
I think he and Barco could have figured it out. I think that would
have
taken a lot of pressure off of PT.
But right, and that's the thing. Prime Joseph make Prime Pity
and I'm not even talking about record-breaking Joseph, because Prime Joseph I think would have been good for 23 to 26.
Low 20 goals, or right around 20
Low
goals.
20 goals a year.
That would have been great.
So you're talking about at least 2 to 3 more seasons of that.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
I don't disagree. I think easily.
I think Joseph is still here at this point.
Agreed. He was. If that doesn't happen, he's a lifer, I
think. And after we got rid of Pity and got Almada, can you imagine Almada?
That was my second question, wasn't it, Glenn? That was my second question. Was after Pity,
so whatever
peak Joseph and peak Tiago. Wow,
probably.
So whatever steps Joseph might have lost over age, Magic El Mago would have made up for in space.
Because look what he's doing.
Yeah, he's doing okay in Lyon right now. He's doing all right.
I mean Joseph.
Joseph
too.
I mean San Jose's struggling. They got beat.
He's not absolutely. He had that hat trick, and those were vintage Joseph goals. Yeah. He's not scoring every single game, but he is scoring.
He also doesn't have Thiago feeding him the ball.
Correct.
And it's and it hasn't been consistent since the injury. But yeah, I don't know. It's hard. Would we have more regular hosting of home playoff matches? I think yes. I don't know if we would have won another championship. That's always
in the mix.
Always going to be the intangible thing, right? Like, and I mean, Columbus has been very, very good, and we have to assume everybody else on the same trajectory. So, Columbus and LAFC have been very, very good over the last 5-6 years. So
that's kind of what I wanted for us is the LAFC, where you're not going to win it every year. Winning's hard, but you're good. You're in the conversation.
LAFC is always contending, and that's where. We used to give out. We used to give LAFC and say that they were.
But they're not.
We did it first, and they're not. But they built this sustainable success model where we might have come out of the gate better. We might have gotten the championship sooner, but we sure as hell have not stewarded that promise into the future at this point.
No, we have
not.
Back
to the Frank de Boer point, because I really think that's interesting. I'm glad you brought it up. I had no idea you were going to bring up that, like, being the diverging point. Do you think in 2019 was more... Did Frank start to acquiesce a little bit to the players? Because I know you give a lot of credit to the players, and rightly so.
Yeah.
Was that a coach being willing to go, okay, I have my ways that I see the game and that I would prefer the game to be played, but my guys don't. And clearly that's not working. So was that...
I'm going to say yes, because there was a bit of...
And then why was he canned then?
Because De Boer's personality was, I mean, obviously, was a little difficult to read.
Yeah, he's just... very robotic.
I would say yes. I would say that's very, very, very much a possibility.
Because I'm not seeing that with
halfway
Ronnie
through...
right now.
Yeah, that maybe halfway through that season.
Or will we see that with Ronnie? Will if we decide to keep rolling with him?
No, I don't think so.
It doesn't seem like it.
No.
So what's your over under on Ronnie making it to the halfway mark of the season?
Tell me how to gauge it.
I think it extremely.
Is he?
Does he make it?
Is he here after the midway point of the season?
What's midway? June?
18
summer
matches
transfer
in,
window.
so
Summer transfer window.
Yeah.
No.
Does he make it to July?
No. I don't.
Not if we don't start winning.
I don't think so.
If we lose, let's see, what's our streak right now?
Well, we haven't
2
scored
losses?
a goal in over 200 minutes.
Okay, but we're at 2 losses right now, right? And then before that was a draw, a 1-1 draw.
Yeah.
And before that was a 0-0 draw.
A lossless streak going with some draws and wins.
Right. And before that was a 0-0 draw. So if we get,
I just don't see it.
Out of the next 10 matches, if we don't win 7 of them, he's gone. 6 of them. I'll say 6.
As crazy as it sounds, and maybe this is the Chelsea in me speaking, I'd be fine with moving on from him pretty soon, because I don't see us on the precipice turning a corner or anything like that. And I think you have to give a new coach 2/3 of the season to work.
2/3. No, and that's the thing.
Not less than half if we're really going to try to make a run at this thing.
Yeah. Well, I was just answering Jennifer's question. If I had my druthers, I'd change him now.
I'm not
bring Rob in.
You even think
bring Rob in now and find someone else.
And is it Rob? There's other people that are available.
I think that's the easiest solution. And if you're looking for vibes,
Big Ange is going to be available in about a month.
No, that won't work. But look,
he wouldn't be the worst thing here. I'm just saying.
If you need somebody who knows the club, I think it's going to be really hard, because all the assistants pretty much came with Ronnie. There's a couple others still there, but I think
bring in Jose
he's just
Mourinho.
Made almost like self-sabotaging lineup decisions.
He really, really has. It's
do you
puzzling.
Want to lose the job? Like, I don't get.
Yeah, it's like he's throwing in the towel. I don't.
Jonde not even on the bench. Are you trying to send a message? The message
Saba
is not
not
being
starting.
received.
Like, what are we talking about?
The message is not being received here. Refusal to play Miggy in centrally because you believe that
because what, you're too stubborn?
Well,
and that's what I don't understand.
He thinks Alexi Morantic is the best player on the team.
I don't know what he's watching. I don't know.
And if that's the case, then that's what Big Ange's problem is, and so I don't think that's going to help.
That's not what Big Ange's problem is.
He's too stubborn, is what I'm saying.
Big Ange's problem is 22 injuries.
There's also that, and now we've got injuries as well. 2 players going down.
And Big Ange has not lost the locker room. Team sucks, but the team is still playing for him.
So, okay, if he hasn't lost the locker room.
I think there's a lot of other dysfunction, but that's not it.
It seems like Ronnie has, but I think the locker room's also lost each other. So there's that.
I don't know. I think the locker room would have had to find each other in the first place to then subsequently get lost. And I don't think they've actually found each other yet. I really think these guys, if they walked down the street, they wouldn't recognize one another in street clothes.
I don't disagree.
Yeah, call Rob just because he knows the team and he was able to get something out of this team. I know we got new players, for sure. And you can't FEA your way through an entire season.
I mean, you could. It'd be a lot more fun to watch than this bullshit.
It would, wouldn't it?
I had fun watching FEA.
Just kind of playing with absolute careless, reckless abandon.
That's the thing. I have no realistic expectation we're going to win every freaking match.
Nobody does.
But I just want to go and have fun watching it.
And it was fun.
Right.
And I don't want to be so depressed I have to turn off Cannabis Top Chef.
For whatever reason.
It's not even fun. It's not fun again.
Reason,
it's not
he was able to get something out of this team. I don't know why. I don't have a clear answer for you. Why him and not this guy? Because by all accounts, Ronnie should have been a pretty decent fit. And I've agreed with a lot of the things he said before he was officially on the job. And a lot of the things he says at his post-game comments, from a 30,000-foot level, and just how he's the mentality of things and how he sees it and what he's taken ownership of things. But the lineup decisions, man, just don't track with the vibes he's putting out there. I don't think it's going to work. I don't. And if we're going to
we have seen one tactical formation work
that he didn't revisit
this whole season. This whole season that he refuses to do, but the only time, like the 2 times outside of the home opener, right? Because I'm gonna put the home opener in a different category, but
as
like
it should
the 2
be.
times were in Cincy when everybody was gone and he didn't have a choice, and when he did I can't remember which the first home match it was where we got the draw.
Dallas, right?
Because
that was my match.
He come back with New York where he dropped Alexi into the 8.
Not Goss,
And he moved Miggy to the 10, and that worked. And we've been screaming for a DP level 6 since we couldn't keep Nagby for whatever fucking reason that was. I didn't want to get into that, but yes, here we go. We've got a DP 6.
But he just sees it differently. He just sees it differently.
I understand.
And so then his post game comments this time.
So Ronnie and Maranchuk can both go to fucking New England and go play.
And his post game comments after this game, he talked about trying to simplify things. Well, that lineup wasn't simplifying anything, and now it's going to be even harder because Latte Lot's out on yellow card suspension already.
He's only out until like the 60th minute or something like that, so he could come back after the 60th minute.
No, he misses a game. You talking?
That's not what they said.
No, you 5 yellow cards, you're out.
I'm aware of the rule. I'm saying they said something weird about he would be suspended until this time next game. That is what they said.
I've never...
Unless they changed the rule, that's what they said. I found it weird too.
Who said that? Mike? Jason?
The commentators.
On Apple TV?
Yeah.
I don't want to sound like a dummy, but...
I'm not necessarily saying they're the authority, but
I've never heard that.
No, I have absolutely no confidence. This is the way I'm looking at it moving forward, which was similar to the way that we ended things. Excuse me.
That's all right.
Last season. I am not looking at any game moving forward with any expectations to win at all.
You're not allowed to have expectations or make predictions because you've been right every match so far this season, and you're not picking positive results. So you're done. You're cut off.
So what I'm saying, I do not expect us to win any more games. I'm not saying I expect us to lose. I'm saying whatever happens will be a surprise because I am not expecting fucking shit. 0. Unless something changes, unless there's the miracle, that spark that fixes things, I don't expect us to win any more games at all. And that way,
if you're letting little boys do your talking for you big men, you got some soul searching to do if you're letting little boys do the talking for you. That ain't right. Just saying. That ain't right.
Player accrues 5 yellow cards, $250 fine, and a suspension from his next MLS regular season match. Yeah,
okay.
I was referring back to the fact that Fortune and Cobb had to do the talking after that match. Because the men sent the boys to do the men's job.
Yeah. And that's what I'm saying.
They should have sent a chick.
They should have. Because we probably would have won.
We can take the sandpaper. Yeah. We give birth. Just saying. Anywho,
right.
Hey, by the way, we appreciate all the interesting discussions that have been going on.
Thank you very much.
On various and sundry social channels. I always kind of hate that, being in bad places generates more conversation and more engagement, but we definitely appreciate it. And I do want to shout out to the suggestion I can totally get behind that Brian Weeble made in our comments this week, which was we need the Hanson brothers.
Clarify.
You've never seen Slapshot? The movie Slapshot. The hooligan brothers with the glasses, and they come out and they literally just beat everybody up.
That's why the Bash Brothers. The Bash Brothers, if you're a Mighty Ducks fan.
Yes, but they were a reference throwback to the Hanson brothers, who the original
of course.
In Slapshot, which is the second greatest.
The Enforcers.
Yes, the Enforcers. Mm-hmm. We have none of it.
No, we don't.
Smash some.
I miss the notorious LGP.
Yes,
even Larry. Larry. Jeff Lorenowitz.
Larry Rometti.
Rometti. I was going to say I called Eric Rometti the pit bull because he was just like a stocky figure out there, and if you ran into him, you fell down.
People like to take a dump on him, but Frankie Ibarra was growing into that.
No, I don't dump on Ibarra. I like Ibarra. He got shafted by us.
I've been keeping tabs on Mr. Ibarra. He's doing all right at Rosario Central. He's doing good. He's doing okay. He seems to be, rated 7.1, 7.2 most of the time for his games on FotMob and SofaScore. So he's doing okay. He's doing the business.
But I'm tired of using sort of ambiguous language.
Yeah, I need someone to come out and be direct from the club. Garth needs to come out and speak this week.
I'm tired of the word. I'm tired of words like missteps or miscues.
No, failing.
You fucked up.
I need Garth to come out.
And you are continuing to fuck up.
I need Garth to come out this week and say we failed, or at least
so
failing.
in corporate land, does "I'm sorry" actually make a difference or an impact to you as a consumer?
It would at this point if they came out. Yeah, if they came out and did the mea culpa, I would actually be like, well, hey, okay, you've done that. You've reached your bottom. You've reached that rock bottom. Now figure out how the fuck to stand up again. How are you going to bring us back out of this? Thank you for saying that. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Now what the fuck are you going to do?
Milan Turner would agree with you. He said the warning lights are blinking for Dyla, but I don't think Garth will fire him before the season is out. And as concerned as we are about Dyla, he's equally concerned about Garth. And I think that's fair. He has to come out this week and speak like you're speaking. Direct. No frills. No sugarcoating. No, it's been a tough start. We are failing. This has not worked. It is not working. Yeah. And we recognize that. Like, the fear of God needs to be put into Dyla and to these players. This is as far from acceptable as you can get. Anyhow.
And that's about all I got.
That's about it for tonight. It's tough.
Hey, wait. Do we want to talk about having the opportunity to talk to clubs that are actually doing positive things?
I'm getting to it. I was segueing into it. You're so anxious to get to a segue. Queen of segues. You'll never even give anybody else a chance to segue. I had it. But you had to.
Well, I'm about to segue myself out of this room.
I know you're not feeling super great.
I'm gonna.
I'm sorry, Glenn. You can have all the segues.
No, it's all right. It's all good. I was just saying that we are appreciative of people listening and tuning in for when the times are tough, but we do have other positive things to talk about, and one of those will be with Decatur FC, who are going to come on the pod tomorrow night. Owner and manager. We're going to be talking with both of them tomorrow about the state of the club, its formation, how it came to be, and how you too can be an owner of a semi-professional women's soccer team if you so choose. Just going to ask them some interesting questions about, what made you get up in the morning and decide to buy a soccer club? Like, how does that happen?
Oh, and hey, for those of you that we did get several questions submitted, so thank you.
Appreciate those.
Thank you for submitting questions. We appreciate that.
We will get to those tomorrow night, and then that pod will drop probably Wednesday or Thursday. Something positive to go into the weekend with before Atlanta United ruins everything. And then we're only a few weeks away from the start of the season, which, please, I'll put the link in the show notes for season tickets. They're very affordable. It's easy to get to, right in downtown Decatur, right by the MARTA station. Like, it's the super easy thing to go do. It's very affordable for you and your family, and you're supporting a good thing and a positive thing. I kind of wish the matches would happen after Atlanta United played as kind of a chaser to a palate cleanser.
I also want to put out another reminder that don't forget the 3rd of May, the Nashville home match is the unified match, the first home unified match of the season. So, you should stick around and watch some quality soccer. We're looking forward to supporting the unified team with our friends from up on the back line.
And hopefully we can get up with mixtape again before.
We're working on it.
Their Nashville season has been a bit up and down, even though I don't think they're having the crisis of identity that we're having. But it hasn't been all sweet.
It must be nice to support a club who knows who it is.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're trying to redefine things, but yeah, they're not where we're at for sure. And I
think there's a lot of their issues just kind of come off of performance.
And they are trying to change from being just defensive, low block. BJ Callahan wants them to play a little bit more soccer and not just sit back. So, and that takes some time to adjust to, but I don't think they're at the point of looking at their club going, who is this? Who are we? How did we give up a goal down up a man? How in the world is that possible? And that's where we are right now. But, well,
because their best player came on in the worst situation and still made us look like shit. That's how.
It's tough right now.
That's how.
And it doesn't appear to be getting better.
So we're gonna try and boost everybody's spirits by looking forward to a team that has everything on the horizon.
Yeah, all to play for. And I mean, they set a record last year in the WPSL for attendance, and they're winning awards already just for the launch of a season. It feels very reminiscent of 17. Decatur FC, keep your identity, build your culture, keep it steady, man. Don't tear everything down.
You don't have to live close to Decatur to be able to enjoy professional women's soccer in this town. There are other WPSL. WPSL sides in the metro area. If you're on the northwest side of town, you can check out Georgia Impact. And if you are up going toward the Gwinnettish area, there is the Atlanta Fire United. And there's one. Yep. Yeah, and there's another one up there. I can't remember the name. I'm sorry. I'll look it up next time. I'll make sure we drop them all because, again, supporting professional women's sports is reasonably priced. It's highly entertaining. There is something close to you. It's fun with the kids. Check it out. You're going to have, kids at home and no school and bored and need something cheap to do. Sure. Can't go wrong with a night at the soccer pitch.
It's a good time, man. And you're right on top of the action. It's much like going to a twos match, which is always fun too.
That's right.
All right, y'all. Thank you so much for listening, for sharing your thoughts on all of this in the Discord and various social channels, and for not tearing each other down.
Listening to us whine and listening to us whine. And
not even whine, but I don't think anybody's whining, man. I think we're trying to figure it out collectively, positively, without tearing each other down. And it's tough. It's tough when you care this much. We wish the team did. We wish some of the players showed we're fretting like we were. Maybe they are. Maybe they're in their own team Discord and trying to hack this together too and figure it out. I don't know. It doesn't seem like it.
And if you notice too, we don't have this attitude when we're playing really well, the team is cohesive, and we just get a bad loss.
Those things happen.
Loss. We don't talk like this. This is for the fundamentally flawed.
Correct. We talk like this because we no longer recognize what was built.
What's going on?
What was built.
That's
and
right.
What we have been continually told.
No idea what we're looking at.
The ownership and leaders at this club of who we are. Well, we don't see it. I don't see who we are. I don't see it. Yeah, I don't see it. I don't know. I would love to. And I'm still holding out hope that we get there. So thanks for holding out hope with us. We appreciate it. Look for the Decatur FC pod to drop probably, we'll do Thursday. I think we'll drop that on Thursday. Should be a nice lead into another tough weekend when we go to Orlando.
Lead into the weekend.
Who knocked us out.
You did mean Orlando, right?
Sure. I'm in no position to throw shade at any other team. None of us. None of us are.
I'm not throwing. I calling a spade is not throwing shade.
Okay, copy that. Fair enough. All right, y'all. Thank you very much for listening and supporting all of us in Mason Mill and FanTV.
Just because we're gonna lose doesn't mean I have to like it.
And we will be back here to talk about it as much as we can. If there's things to deconstruct and look at, we will do that. If it's only 30,000 foot view type stuff, fundamental issues, we will do that too. We ain't going anywhere, man. As much as this team is trying to drive us away, we will not let it happen. We will be here for it. All right.
We will always be here.
We'll be back.
Misery loves company.
This pod, like I said, we'll drop the Decatur FC pod in a couple days' time. This one, we will be back in a week's time. Till then, y'all be good. We will be back.
Fucking meow, I guess.